Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I see there's wonderful friends on the group, so it will be a wonderful session today with a close-knit group who can journey through this very important topic of the healing power of gratitude. So my name is Raksha, and welcome to all of you to the fourth in this series of dealing with loss and grief. And thus far, we've looked in our first session at a spiritual approach to dealing with loss and grief and honoring the legacy of our loved one. And we went into many experiential exercises in that first session. And in the second session, we looked at the 5 stages of grief with many beautiful personal experiences as individuals had journeyed through the 5 stages of grief. And last week, the third in our series, we looked at the topic of forgiveness to freedom. So recognizing, the challenges that many had faced in losing a loved one, and the regret, the anger turning into resentment, and a deep feeling of wanting to now move from, that forgiveness into a state of freedom. And today we will then look at this most important topic of the healing power of gratitude, igniting the power of hope. And, when I think of gratitude, especially in dealing with loss and grief, there's an outward energy of appreciation, because often when we have to deal with grief and with loss, there's a deep closed energy, where one is deeply within oneself, such that I cannot appreciate what is around me, and I cannot ignite that flame of hope. And a flame of hope radiates outward, whilst when that hope is put out, when there's no experience of that gratitude for what is, then there's just that darkness. And so today, another experiential workshop on this very important topic of the healing power of gratitude. And thank you all for joining us so that we can journey on this topic together. What really makes these sessions most valuable is everyone's input and personal experience, and we're learning from each other so that we can continue to grow and move through this grief and this loss to enlightenment on the other side. And so, as I mentioned, my name is Raksha, and I'd like to welcome you to this 1.5 hour session. And the co-facilitator for today's workshop is Kamla. And Kamla, I'd like you to introduce yourself as well. Thank you. Oh, you're muted.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really wonderful to be with all of you this afternoon once again. And just thinking about gratitude makes the heart so full and overflowing. So today I'm looking forward to you all participating in the workshop, and we will learn from each other. So what I'd like to do now is actually start with becoming present in the moment. So We sit relaxed and breathe in gently and naturally. We focus on the screen and see the beauty of the image in front of us, the brilliant colors and hues of the sunrise. And all these colors reflected in the water of the ocean. It just feels so peaceful, so natural to be seeing this wonderful beauty before us. We feel so grateful to be observing the scene. The calmness of the ocean can almost be felt. It just feels so peaceful and quiet. All you can hear is the lapping of the waves. Very gentle, very beautiful. As I observe the scene, my mind becomes still. I become more peaceful, and I am now focused to be present in this workshop for today. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, Kamla. And before we begin, it would be lovely just to start with hearing from all of you. So like we shared, at the beginning, this will be a workshop where we can learn from each other and grow with this quality of gratitude, this healing power of gratitude. Because often we may hear many talks and then we don't get a chance to assimilate it. We don't get a chance to personalize and own it. And so in this 1.5 hours, not only will we hear things, but we'll get a chance to own and practice and take this as a tool going forward into our lives. So a little icebreaker for all of us so that we can hear from you. I would like to ask you now to think of one thing that you are grateful for today. So on this Saturday, what was one thing that you are grateful for? That's not too much to ask. And if you can put it in the chat box. So one thing that you are grateful for today. So thank you. You can all keep writing and I'll read it out. So already many, many beautiful things. So Jatinda, every breath. Yamin, I am alive. Michelle, the gift of life. Sherry, I'm alive and well. Gaynor, sorry, one second. Gaynor, this beautiful, warm, sunny day. You must be in Durban. And then Carol, the opportunity to meet with you all. Somebody on the galaxy, to be alive, Delina, God, Esther, precious gift of life, Shirley Peters, being alive and healthy with all my faculties intact. Priscilla, I am grateful for breathing. Jatinda, I am able to exercise this morning. Alison, for my children. Nir, I caught this morning's meditation. Eva, to share time with family. Malandela, this morning I walked 5 kilometers, even with my injured knee. Amazing. So thank you. So that's wonderful. If anyone else wants to add any more, they're most welcome. So wonderful. So many things already. And even as you heard me share the aspects that others had shared, about being grateful, it makes you feel so wonderful inside and makes you think about what really matters in life. Often we can get so self-absorbed in the tiniest thing and forget about the bigger picture. Many of you said that I'm just grateful to breathe, to be alive, to walk, to meet, to have a family. And Jeremy says, grateful to you all for this workshop. So that's wonderful, Jeremy. So really the healing power of gratitude, it takes us out from the small and takes us into the enormity of presence and living every moment with that acceptance and appreciation for life. So thank you for beginning that journey with us and for sharing your aspects of gratitude this morning.
And Raksha, on YouTube chat,
Yes.
Gloria shared, I'm grateful for the gift of life and my breathing.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's wonderful. So I see we do have a few on YouTube. And if you want to, you're most welcome to join us on Zoom, but we'll be keeping an eye on you on YouTube as well. But it will be lovely to have you be part of the group on Zoom as well. So thank you, Indrani. And so let us explore this aspect of the healing power of gratitude more deeply.
So we're going to look at the benefits of gratitude. And one of the things that happens when we experience grief or loss and is that our heart gets blocked. And one of our spiritual leaders, Sister Jayanti, from the Brahma Kumaris, actually shared that gratitude actually allows the love from the heart to flow once again. So firstly, that's one of the benefits of gratitude. And the other is improves physical and psychological health. It actually reduces a lot of toxic emotions. And it has been said that grateful people sleep better. There was a study done in 2011 and it was published in Applied Psychology, and they found that those that were grateful actually had better sleep. Then gratitude has been known to actually improve mental strength. A study was conducted in 2014, and they found that the athletes self-esteem increased when they practiced gratitude. It increases our mental strength. They actually looked at veterans from the Vietnam War, and they found those that actually had practiced gratitude had less post-traumatic stress issues. It enhances our empathy and reduces aggression. Also, there's a study to show that those that practice gratitude are more likely to forgive others. Also, gratitude opens the door to more relationships because when we focus on this good energy that comes from us, we have better relationships with others. Sorry, next slide, please. So actually, how does gratitude work? It's based on the law of attraction. What you appreciate appreciates you in return. Actually, it's all about energy. The energy that we give out returns to us. It focuses your energy on what's already good and working. So gratitude focuses your energy on what's already good and working. This automatically draws better to you. It shifts your energy towards joy because somehow when we focus on gratitude, then we let go of all the negative energy that's held within, can be held within if we are experiencing grief or loss. And with gratitude, when we're focusing our energy on the gifts in our lives and blessings, it makes you feel much, much happier. Thank you. I think Sister Raksha will share this
Great.
one.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, so how does gratitude work in dealing with loss and grief? And I know I've heard many stories of how often when somebody has lost a loved one and is experiencing that deep pain and loss and that grief, often they are so absorbed in that they forget about everyone around them. And I know Sister Shirley was sharing how there was a family and the mother had lost one of her children, but the other three children were then left to fend for themselves, and they then didn't experience the love of their mother because the mother was so overcome with the grief and loss. And so definitely where there's a feeling of lack, I draw more feelings of lack. But where there's a feeling of gratitude in life, then I have more love and I can give and receive more love. And so the more gratitude you feel in life, grateful for what is still around you, grateful for, like many have shared, this breath, this day, the more I can continue to give that love and receive that love to the many that still surround me. And gratitude then moves you from being fixed on the self to appreciating a bigger picture. So it takes you out of yourself to appreciate the whole picture of life. And it shifts your awareness from mundane or negative to positive. So once again, that feeling of lack to a feeling of abundance, a feeling of look at what I do have and let me appreciate and give the best of myself to what I do still have in my life. And so these are some thoughts of, dealing, how gratitude helps in dealing with loss and grief. And what we want to do now is to guide you through a few exercises that you can reflect on in your mind or with pen and paper. Pen and paper is always the best. So if you can get some pen and paper or use your cell phone, your notes to write down as we journey through a few short exercises of gratitude. So Kamla will guide you through this first exercise.
So this first exercise is appreciating your loved one's strengths. So think of your loved one and focus on the strengths. And think about all the things that you loved and are grateful for about them. You can write it down. And then how do you actually feel in your heart now that you are focusing on the strengths of your loved one? You may write it down in the chat. So focus on the strengths and think about all the things that you loved and are grateful for about them. How do you feel in your heart now that you're focusing on their strengths? Write it in the chat box.
So thank you. I'm going to read some of them and just keep writing as I read, because it's beginning this journey of appreciation, focusing on all that you're grateful for in your loved one. And just keep writing and write it in the chat as well. And Kamla, should I read now some of
Yes,
them?
you can.
Okay. So Jatinda, I always remember my father. He was very active and always laughing. I just wish that I can do that, but find it impossible to do most of times. Indrani, my loved one, was selfless, loving, and humble. Shamin, my loved one, shared knowledge and had time. Gaynor, it warms the heart to feel all these special things. She was such a special sister. Jatinda, I love all the living beings, and my heart cries when I see or hear bad news about any of them. Jeremy, my brother, was most generous and humble, not only to family and friends, but strangers as well. Yamin, my dad showed me to be honest, kind, caring, and humble in life. And Shirley, I often miss hearing from my husband's niece, especially on Fridays, the day she always called me on the phone. Though very ill, she was very positive and hopeful for the future. She was very gentle and appreciative of all those who cared for her. And my late brother was one of the kindest and most compassionate people. I miss him when I focus on these qualities of his.
Such beautiful sharing. Just listening to it makes one's heart so full. I hope that you are also feeling good in your hearts, just focusing on all their strengths and positive qualities.
I know, Kamla, when you had done this exercise in the first part of the series, you also had shared how beneficial it was, isn't it? Just remembering the strengths. Do you want to share that?
Okay. What had happened was during after I lost my husband, there was a sense of loss and something missing within the self. And then when I did this exercise on actually looking at his strengths, it actually shifted me from this negative frame of mind to a much more positive one. So I was actually able to deal with the loss and actually see the loss in a different light, made the heart feel so much lighter. And one of his strengths was to be his truth and to speak the truth. And I realized that these qualities are also latent within myself. Maybe I have not actually paid as much attention to it. So I decided that I'm going to start using this in my life as well. So each time I use it, I'm so grateful to my husband for actually bringing this light into the life, to my life. And the mere fact that I can share with you so openly from the heart is the truth that I can be truthful to myself and be my truth and speak my truth. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a beautiful example. Yeah, that's why I really wanted you to share it. But isn't it wonderful when we remember the qualities, whilst it may make us sad that they're not here anymore, but just remembering them brings such a smile to our faces, and their qualities just warm us up from inside out. And like many have shared on the chat, they begin to then live that and carry that legacy forward. So it's so beautiful that many are sharing how those loved ones have taught you how to live your life. And like Kamla, even now, with her loss, she's processed it so she can use those qualities and carry it forward. So, what we want to do now is to get you to move to the next aspect of gratitude, and that is to appreciate the gifts and blessings shared. So, think about everything that you and your loved one had shared in the past that you are grateful for, and write this down in the chat. Maybe it was long conversations, or laughter, or walks, or life, or children, or certain picnics or holidays. Or think about and appreciate all the gifts and blessings that you had shared in your life with your loved one in the past that you are so grateful for. And to write that in the chat. So just turn the pages of the book of your life, those chapters with your loved one, and any beautiful scene that emerges, any a special thing that you had shared, and gifts and blessings that you had shared in your life with your loved one, just type it into the chat and reminisce about that and enjoy it. It'll be wonderful if you can share it, and then I can read it out so it can warm everyone's hearts. So Nishi, my daughter, was the bravest and most compassionate young lady I know. The many lives she touched in her short life is just too numerous. So wonderful, Nishi, an amazing account of your young lady daughter. And from Jitendra Mehta, I appreciate the financial help my parents provided when I needed it most. I plan to pass that on to my kids and others in need. So just think of the many blessings you'd shared with that one, the gifts. So how they had continued to touch your life and the blessings they were in your life. Shobha, our daughter Varsha was a go-getter in life, so I don't ever step down. Ready to go anytime, anywhere. Zeal and enthusiasm. We laughed a lot together. Both of us are Aryans, so we are born leaders, full of fun and frolic. Wonderful. And Michelle, my dad died 6 years ago. And when I think about him, I smile because he was humble, forgiving, and was always ready to serve. Shamala, my mom-in-law took spiritual birth today 20 years ago. She cooked the most delicious food. Wonderful, Shamala. And Sherry, my mom touched every human being she met. She passed on more than 14 years, but to date, people talk about how she touched their life. She helped me with my kids and decisions that impact on me until today. Ramila, having lost my mother at the age of 16, I am so blessed when I got married to have a mom-in-law. For 30 years, she was more like a mother to me than a mother-in-law. I miss her so much. And we always had birthday celebrations together with our children, and we loved and laughed and enjoyed the special birthday cake together, special times and warmth and love. Jeremy, we played every game available back in our days, from cricket on the road to hide and seek and Jack come up the red hill. Just warms my heart with this remembrance. Shirley, Stella never complained about her illness, was never negative. Gaynor, my last meaningful, fun conversation with Michelle was soon before she died in the car accident. I was telling her how wonderful student life nursing in Cape Town was. I can see her intelligent, beaming, enquiring face before me. I still feel tinges of sadness many, many years later. Jaggi, I miss the intelligent talks that my son and I shared, and I'm so grateful to have had these talks with him. So thank you all for sharing such wonderful examples and stories that really touch our heart. and keep emerging that warm, healing power of gratitude and igniting that light of hope, remembering all the good times and the good things in the lives of your loved ones. And one more I'll read. My dad always said, never play the victim over our difficult days. His words gave me the power to look ahead and be positive. Thank you. That's Shamala. And 21 years ago, on the 14th of June, and Michelle, my mom, died 2 months ago. She was the matriarch of our family who protected us and loved feeding all of us. Thank you. Kamla.
So now we've looked at the past, and but we are living in the present now, and it's good to be present and aware of what is valuable in our lives, like today. So we're going to be appreciating the gifts of today. We can appreciate the gifts of the past and enjoy them and be grateful and use it in our lives today. But sometimes we forget what is so valuable and in our lives today, and all the people that are with us and are actually with us and giving us gifts every day. So today you're going to be looking at living in the present and appreciating the gifts of today. So what I would like you to do, become aware of everything you are grateful for in the present moment, including those that you love and still surround you. Write it down for yourself and also write it in the chat box. So become aware of everything you are grateful for in the present moment, including those that you love and still surround you. And to really appreciate what we have. Because when we do this, we become of the abundance that we still have, the abundance that is within ourselves. When we become aware of the abundance within ourselves, then there isn't a feeling of lack, but a feeling of being full. So once again, become aware of everything you are grateful for in the present moment, including those that you love and that still surrounds you. Write this down in the chat.
I was thinking it's like we're filling this box with all that we're grateful for today and giving it to ourselves. So it's like a present, isn't it? So becoming aware of everything you are grateful for in the present. So Anne says, there is so much, my home, having food to nourish me, my daughter and grandchild, my work, the fact that I can still work in good health, my very good friends, the BK family, and so much more! Exclamation. Yamin, I am grateful for my mother staying together with me, and I am also grateful for my wonderful husband. So wonderful. Shamin, I enjoy the company of my soft, gentle, faithful, nurturing friends. Gaynor, I'm grateful for all I have, my life, body, with its limitations through injury and surgery, my senses, sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, my home and beloved dogs, my garden, friends, some family, my palliative career, and so much more. Heart, heart. Wonderful. Shamala, I'm grateful for daily miracles, my mum, my family, my grandchildren, a roof over my head, daily the privilege to perform seva, service, and many more. Isn't it wonderful just hearing these things? Sherry, I'm grateful for the roof over my head, my family, and good food every day. Jeremy, our parents and the family members who we lost recently had outstanding virtues. V and Chanel were most benevolent and humorous. We can still laugh at their jokes. Also, the fun-filled parties and bonding. Shirley, I value and appreciate that my husband and children, my mother, siblings, and heir children are alive and well, that we are able to communicate with each other. Thanks to social media for the privilege of communicating with others who are in other countries and continents. Content for all that I need physically, socially, psychologically, and too many to mention. Shobha, I really appreciate our two grandchildren, Shweta and Aryan. They are joyful and disciplined in spite of their mom's loss. That's how she would have loved them to be. I really appreciate our family and our spiritual family. Reggie, grateful to breathe. Wonderful.
Such wonderful sharing. So, actually, gratitude is so invaluable for us to actually appreciate what is in the present and keep our hearts full. And so the love can continue to flow.
And Anne says, and how about a hot bath in this cold weather? So many are not able to get the cold out of their bones. So true, Anne.
I agree with that too.
Yes, wonderful. So much to be grateful for. Thank you. And another. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So those words are gratitude as well, isn't it? Just the words thank you. So wonderful. So just these. You want to share, Kamla?
No, I just want to say thank you for all those beautiful sharing.
Yeah, because just hearing it and being absorbed in it, even if I didn't, each one didn't share, but it's so invaluable. in creating that healing power and that feeling of abundance, because we forget the little things that we can appreciate and enjoy in life and what still is, and we get so lost in what is lost, isn't it? So really stop being lost in what is lost, but become present in what is, and fill that treasure box, and offer that treasures to yourself to fill your heart, so that you can offer who you are to the world. And so appreciating the loved one, appreciating the life with the loved one, appreciating today's gifts. Now can I appreciate, and realize and recognize that what I recognize and appreciate in others and in life is latent within me. It is not separated, nor is it lost to you. Often when we lose a loved one, there's a deep feeling of loss, and one gets so absorbed in that loss, that and that lack, because they are not in my life. I lack something. But you loved that one because of who they were, and you loved all their qualities, all that you shared. But what we recognize and appreciate in others, we can only recognize and appreciate because I have that within me. So I can't appreciate peace if I don't know what peace is. I can't appreciate humility if deep down I don't know what humility is. How can you recognize or see something that you do not know about? So the fact that you can say that a loved one was humble is because you have that humility within you, and it resonates with you. So their humility resonates with the humility that is latent within you. So in this little exercise, we want you to really realize that what you recognize and appreciate in others and life is latent within you, and it's not separate from you. It's not lost to you. It is there within you. And to really now emerge it, as Kamla had shared in her story, as she reflected on the qualities of her husband, it emerged such a warm feeling and such a lightness in her heart, and such value for those qualities. But she could only recognize it because it was within her. And as she started to use those qualities, she's feeling more lighter and lighter about life. And so now, to visualize yourself in the future, complete in everything you appreciate in others, and carrying on that legacy. So can I now visualize myself in the future? Future means later today, tomorrow, that soon. Just complete in everything that you appreciate in others, because it is latent within you. And by living it, you then carry on that legacy. I think Shobha had shared how she will not step down from the enthusiasm and the zeal that her daughter had, and she will carry it forth. So similarly, now can I recognize that I am complete, in all that I love and appreciate. Nothing's been taken away from me. It is within me. It's a gift. I know Jaggi mentioned in his conversations with his son, the importance of how those conversations were so deep. It's missed, but it's appreciated. And so those deep conversations can still continue. So carrying on that legacy. So each one of you, if you can reflect now on how really what you have recognized and appreciated in the other is within you, and you need to now carry that forth and take and share that energy with the world. So if we can visualize that. Does anyone want to share anything at this point? I'm laughing because Shobha is so grateful that she's baked rolls that were perfect. And so, so anyone else wants to share?
There is so much in life to share about. When I sit back and realize there is a death and there is life after that, and there's rebirth. So it's so fundamental when you look at the whole cycle. It's perfectly been put on this earth that it's beyond us to ever realize from nothing come seeds, from nothing come insects, from nothing come animals, and from nothing come human beings. Where does it come from? The mysteries of life. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
So great. More to be grateful for. That's wonderful and thankful for. Any thoughts around this aspect? Yes.
It's Shamala here. May I share something quickly?
Yes, you're welcome.
I just wanted to say, you know, if we're grateful, it opens up a whole new world for us. We stop complaining and we bring in energies of a higher vibration into our personal space. And then we can see these little miracles happening and we're more appreciative of it, you know. So, they say gratitude is the attitude for altitude. So the more grateful you are, the more your vibrations escalate, and you are able to help people that that are not in that space. And when your vibrations are high, we know at the Brahma Kumaris, they teach us, you know, when you meditate, you uplift your vibrations, then you don't have that dark energies coming into your space, or you hear people moaning and groaning, because you are able to identify that behavior, either help them or move on. But I'm very grateful for the Brahma Kumaris because I've learned so much. And even every Tuesday when we connect with the UK and Sister Madhvi, we learn from speakers all over. And to me, that is priceless, you know. So thank you for allowing me to say this, and a blessed weekend to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamala. So wonderful. Any thoughts on this aspect of a complete me, and overcoming that feeling of lack or feeling of loss, and being in the fullness of who I am, to then share with that higher vibration, like Shamala mentioned, with that attitude of gratitude, and then drawing more miracles into your life. If no one wants to share further, I will like to guide you.
Just one thought that came up now. I was like thinking, we always looking for the hero outside ourselves, but actually the hero is within us. Thank you.
Wonderful. So so that understanding that, you know, we feel sometimes we're only complete if somebody saves us, but I am the hero, and I can really save myself and then support others. I guess like that image in the picture. So I want to guide you now through a meditation, a visualization on this, visualizing yourself in the future, complete in everything that you appreciate in others, carrying on this legacy. Okay, so if you will sit comfortably in your seats and relax. And as I'm seated here now, I just visualize this amazing scene before me on the screen before me. And there's such an abundant field of sunflowers, each one so beautiful, so complete. And as the light of the sun falls on the sunflower lifts its face to the light. And in this moment, I too ignite that light of hope and that amazing energy of gratitude in my heart. I feel so grateful in this present moment for everything, for the past, for the people that have lived in my life, for those that I have lost, for all the scenes shared, for this present scene in life, and for the many, many more beautiful scenes of my life that are to come. I am complete in everything that I value and have valued, in everything and everyone. And with that feeling of gratitude, I radiate acceptance and love. And it ripples out from me, just bringing waves of gratitude and harmony into this body, into the atmosphere that surrounds me, into nature. This abundant energy then flows into my relationships and into the future, welcoming a beautiful life. I choose in this moment to keep that light of appreciation, of gratitude, burning bright. And as I pay attention to this attitude and energy of gratitude, it fills my life with abundance. It draws more and more into my life. And every second, every breath is filled with love and life. With gratitude, I really live. Without gratitude, it's as if the light has gone out. There's a feeling of lack, and I draw more lack. But with love and gratitude and appreciation and a feeling of abundance, I draw more and more light into my life. I am complete in everything I appreciate outside. It's all within me. And success is then guaranteed according to the law of energy. What I radiate out, what I appreciate, appreciates me back. Thank you.
We're going to look at now how to add gratitude journaling and how to journal. But firstly, when we journal, we can keep various forms of journals, and you can get as creative as you want to make it as enjoyable as you want. You can stick pictures. One can actually paint if you can, draw. So you can do it in various ways. Play music while you're journaling to make it as enjoyable as possible. So, but today we're going to look at the very basic one. And basically, we're looking at like the time required could be 5 to 10 minutes and at least 3 times a week. But but if we do it daily, there is much more benefit in doing journaling on a daily basis. And also, we shouldn't get tense about, oh, I'm doing it wrong or right or whatever. There's no wrong way to keep a journal. But just an example of how to do or write a journal, you can just write down 10 things for which you feel grateful. Or you can draw 10 things that you think you're grateful for. Much more entertaining, of course. And even if something is relatively small in importance, what we think, like we might think like a daily hot bath, is just normal, whatever. But imagine although it's small, but it's such a wonderful opportunity for us to have actually a hot bath daily on a regular basis. So the goal of this exercise on journaling is to remember a good event, experience, person, or thing in your life, and then enjoy the good feelings that come with it. So it is not about how much I'm writing or what I'm writing, but it's to enjoy it and enjoy the feelings, because when we enjoy the feelings, then it gets us out of being stuck, and then our heart begins to open. So continuation of how to journal. Be as specific as possible when we're writing. Look at the depth of it rather than quantity, than writing a whole lot of things on a daily basis, but to look at the quantity. So go to the depth, and rather to the depth than the breadth. And they say if you get personal, rather focusing on people has more of an impact than on things. But for myself as well, I find that when I focus on nature, and I'm grateful for that, it leaves such a good feeling in the heart. So again, it's entirely up to you. So we see the good things as gifts and treasure them. We savor the surprises. Don't take good fortune for granted. And sometimes we might have to try subtraction and not just addition. So we might just have to let go of certain things. But it's one thing it's good to do is to commit to a regular time to journal and then to honor that commitment. Next slide, Raksha.
Okay, so thank you. So I was just thinking as Kamla was sharing about, a patient that I had with advanced pancreatic cancer, and she was on a journey, quite an existential journey, of really not just letting the cancer be her experience, but to exponentially grow in that time. And as we know, pancreatic cancer is quite an aggressive cancer. But in those weeks to months, she really grew so amazingly, existentially, spiritually, and the main thing that she did was she kept a gratitude journal. So she had a whole group of individuals across the globe, and they were all gratitude journaling, inspiring her along. And she lived every breath, every moment of her life with such abundance, such that, even in the last few days, whilst in the bed being cared for, she whispered she was so grateful for these months and for the cancer and for the care, and that cancer was a real gift to her in that, it really offered her the opportunity to grow and to appreciate every breath of her life. And she lived, those weeks and months. And so really, gratitude journaling, a very, very, very powerful tool. And as we can see in this short time, how happy we are beginning to feel, just feeling grateful for the past, for the present, for the future. It's an amazing energy, the energy of gratitude. And so we want to take you through 2 exercises to get you to experience this journaling. And the 2 exercises will get you to begin that process now. Because as we said, an hour and a half can go by listening to a talk, and then you have not initiated any practice. And so today we want you to start that practice. So what I want you to do is, if you don't have paper and pen, get a page and a pen or pencil and have it available now. And I implore you to please join us on this little exercise. It's profound. When I did it, I absolutely loved it, because it's amazing what can come out through through this experience. So so I'll give you a moment or two to get your pen and paper. It's not the same writing on your cell phone, on your notes. I know we've all moved and we're so advanced in technology, but the best is still good old pen and paper. And so if you can get your pen and paper and join us, that'll be wonderful. So if you do have your pen and paper, then I want you to become very still and silent, and just become still inside, introspective. And I want you now with your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, I want you to use your right hand. And if you're a lefty, use your left hand to write down a challenge or a concern. So write down a concern or a challenge with your dominant hand. So just for a moment, don't think too hard. Whatever challenge you're having at the moment, whatever concern you have at the moment, write it down with your dominant hand. Okay. So if you've done that, just briefly the concern or challenge with your dominant hand, and we can all join in. I'll also join in. And then I want you now with your non-dominant hand. So if you're a right-handed person, use your left hand. And if you're a left-handed person, use your right hand. And I want you now to use your non-dominant hand to write a letter from your higher self to your current self, appreciating your journey up until this point and your strengths along the path. And why we want you to do this is because usually if we're right-handed, our logical is the left side of our brain, but our more creative, subtle, spontaneous, intuitive self will then be our right side of our brain. And so if I start using my non-dominant hand to write the letter, there won't be any interference and any suppression, and things will flow naturally in an appreciative, creative way to respond to the concern or challenge. And so that is why we're asking you to use your non-dominant hand to respond to the concern or challenge, and just appreciating the self, the strengths to meet this challenge, and appreciating just yourself and all that you have been through up until this point. So I hope you understand that logic. We use logic too much. So we're trying to get you not to use the logical side of your brain, but to use the more creative and intuitive side of your brain. Okay, so I want you now with your left hand, or if you're a right-handed person, to respond to the concern or challenge, appreciating your strengths and your journey up until now, appreciating you and all that you've been on this journey, and respond to the concern or challenge. I hope it's clear. And really, really, really don't just look at these words on the screen. Take up your pen and page and do it now. And we'd really love if some of you can share. It'll be beautiful. I know some laugh and think, it's impossible, I cannot write with the non-dominant hand, but try it. Please do. And you can start it with, dear, your name. So how was that? Does anyone want to share their letters from their higher self, their more intuitive self, their more creative self? Anyone? If you don't want to speak, you can write it in the chat. So wonderful. So when Gaynor wrote to herself with her non-dominant hand, the words that came up was, look how far you have come. Look at all you've been through. Do you really think you're not tenacious enough to continue to succeed here still? Please stop doubting yourself. You're smarter than you have believed. Very beautiful, Gaynor. So wonderful, hey? I know this exercise always surprises me with what comes up from that uncensored, creative, intuitive self versus when I try and use all the logic and to try and approach concerns and situations. Anyone else? Anything that came up for you? I know it's not easy when you start. You might think, oh, I can't do this, but if you give it a shot, it's really heartwarming what emerges as you write with your non-dominant hand. So if anyone wants to unmute and read theirs, they're most welcome. So you don't have to type it into the chat, you can read it to us. So this was just to begin that process of journaling. And to begin that process of taking your pen and paper and starting to write. And like Gaynor shared, it's really amazing what can emerge if one just takes up the challenge. And like I shared my amazing story of this beloved patient, who really used gratitude journaling and lived every second and breath of her life very valuably, such that she found cancer was a gift to her, even at her last breath. So Nthokoza, stop trying to please everyone. So her non-dominant hand wrote back to her, stop trying to please everyone. Look how much you've accomplished so far. You are doing great. Wonderful. Thank you, Nthokoza. So continue this process. It is amazing. And I'll invite Kamla now to take us to the next exercise in writing. But whoever wants to type it into the chat, if you still want to share, you're most welcome. You can type it into the chat.
This exercise is one of my favorites because I just love this higher energy writing to me, and what this energy has to say to me is always so healing for the heart and good to hear. So what we're going to do now is imagine a higher supportive energy writing to you, and you can choose any relationship, but we choose a dear child. So this higher energy is actually writing to you. So once again, we invite you to go within, sit quietly, take your pen and paper, and write a letter from this higher energy to you. I'm just reading Anne's chat, but you can continue writing as I read, because she's actually written such a beautiful one here. She says, you've been so brave and positive throughout your life. Don't think about and ... and ... Their karma will come through. You have grown so much. You are on the path to a blissful existence. God is proud of your efforts. You are blessed, and you will continue to be blessed. Stay safe and keep up your good work. Beautiful. And Jatinder says, there is hope still. Try to be positive always, and positive things will happen to you.
And Shirley also shared from the previous writing exercise, I really congratulate you for the efforts you have made and continue to make by putting all the spiritual wisdom you gather from your spiritual teaching, talks, and workshops into practice, having a positive mental attitude and learning from all negative behavior and complaints around you, being resilient and always seeing the good in everything. So wonderful thoughts from the higher self and a higher being. And Gaino, from this exercise, dear child, I love you. I've loved you before you were born. I've seen everything, all the hurts, sorrow, and tears. I'm with you through everything. I'm here with you daily. And a big heart. Wonderful. Another one. So you can keep writing in the chat, but whilst you're writing, I wanted Kamla to share the homework now because it's quite valuable homework. So maybe if you can, whilst they write in the chat, share about this one, Kamla.
Okay. This exercise actually was given to us by Sister Jayanti from a Brahma Kumaris, and she's actually used it for herself and recommended it for others. And it's like we can experiment with this according to how we feel is appropriate for us. So what she encouraged us to do was write 100 things that you are grateful for in your life from early as you can remember. So write 100 things that you are grateful for in your life from early as you can remember. And every morning, start your day writing down 10 things you are grateful for every day. This naturally shifts our energy in the morning. And then in the evening, every evening, end your day writing down 10 things that you are grateful for every day. And this is something we'd like to leave with you for you to try out, experiment with, and see how it goes for you. Thank you.
Great. So in the chat, one more had come through. Shirley says, dear child, dear child. So I guess it's quite lovely to feel the higher energy sees you as that child. And yes, I hear you daily as you ask me to be the golden light that surrounds you throughout the day. Keep remembering me. That's very sweet, Shirley. And Jatinda, the session has reinforced the ray of hope in my life. Thank you, Jatinda. And what we want to do now, I'm sure you've all loved that exercise on that writing from a higher energy to you from the 2 or 3 chats that we've read. It's really very sweet and pure and beautiful and powerful and very encouraging. And so what I would like to do now is to guide you into a meditation using this beautiful candle of hope to end the session on the healing power of gratitude, igniting the light and power of hope. And so I want you now to just sit comfortably in your seats once again and just relax. And as I'm seated here, I just look at this beautiful flame of this amazing candle. And focusing on this flame, I visualize this light just filling me with absolute light, golden light, an abundant, pure and powerful light that fills my entire being. This is who I am. I am a flame of gratitude, abundance, hope, love. And I just keep this flame ignited as it radiates out to fill the very fiber of my being, rippling out into this body, into this room, to those that I love and have loved, to the world, to all of nature, all of humanity. And I know that I am protected and surrounded by that abundant light, that supreme light that keeps this flame alive and burning bright. If ever I feel like this light is going out from within me, I begin to appreciate life. I begin to appreciate the ever available source of light. And I begin to appreciate life. And I stay in the light of the joy of being, the joy of an amazing support, and the joy and abundance of a life I choose to live. With gratitude, I will appreciate every second, every breath, and keep shining. For in this time, the world needs this light. And so I choose to be this light, to be surrounded by that light, and to offer this light to the world. Thank you. So thank you. We've come to the end of this session on the healing power of gratitude. And we've looked at gratitude in many aspects of our life with regard to the past, the present, the future, how it impacts not only your body, your relations, nature, life draws abundance, so much with this amazing quality of gratitude and acceptance. And we would like to also invite you to join us next Saturday, the 12th of June, 3 to 4:30, on Moving On by Being Positive, part 5 of the Dealing with Loss and Grief series. And we are sure you will also enjoy this deeply. So take note and note it down so that you can enjoy next week's session at 3 to 4:30, Saturday, the 12th of June. So thank you, and my gratitude to each one of you that had joined. And Kamla, you can also share something.
Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed all the lovely sharing. It's actually so beautiful to hear these words from you all. And it was wonderful to be with you this evening. Really grateful to be with you all. Thank you.
So wonderful. So all these sessions are on YouTube. I see many don't want to miss, and we've had amazing sessions prior, and so you're welcome to go onto the YouTube and access these. And if you go onto the YouTube of today, it will bring up the previous series as well, or you can email the head office and they could share the details with you. So thank you again, and have a wonderful Saturday. Aruna, is there a slide with the office details?
Yes, if you stop sharing your screen, please, then I can.
Okay, okay, great.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. It's love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is the love that heals, the love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only